Three Demons Book 2, Chapter 27, Positivity in Life. The battle between Ria and Jinsei had temporarily reached a standstill. Ria's arms were reduced to nothing but skin and bone. However, she knew she had just started to figure out the weakness behind Jinsei's negative control. Even if she had just started to figure out his weakness, she knows she needs to quickly come to a conclusion before Jinsei could find an opening. Suddenly, Jinsei swung his greatsword downward, the blade slashing through the air, creating a shockwave that forced Ria to roll out of the way. As Ria began to think of a plan to counter Jinsei, he had closed in on her, his blade being brought down at her. Using her speed, Ria darted out of the way of Jinsei's blade, just narrowly avoiding the blow. Ria then puts up together her index and middle fingers, and suddenly Jinsei slashed his blade downward, cutting her body into two. However, her body then became translucent before completely vanishing. Another afterimage, huh? Jinsei thought to himself. Just like before, several afterimages of Ria appeared and encircled Jinsei. This is getting dull, Lady Gabrielle. Even if it didn't work the first time, it won't work the second. Jinsei warned Ria, but her determination remained strong. The afterimage right behind Jinsei lunged into action, hoping to make a quick and lethal blow. She aimed her hand towards the back of his heart. However, Jinsei was quick enough to counter the attack, cutting the afterimage in half. The other afterimages then moved in, each attempting to strike Jinsei. She's getting desperate. Her attacks are becoming unorganized. Jinsei thought to himself as he dodged each of their blows in a specific manner, the manner in which he could gather them closely in a group before he fired several balls of fire at them, incinerating the afterimages. As the smoke cleared, Jinsei noticed that no one was left standing. The real Ria was not among the afterimages he was fighting. Jinsei began looking around to find the real Ria. Ria then appeared from the ruined floors. She rammed her hand through Jinsei's chest, holding his heart in her hands, as Jinsei began coughing up blood. Where the hell? Jinsei began speaking before Ria interrupted. When you become a high-tier demon, it's expected that you use your demonic arcana in unique ways. So I used my premiation magic to sink into the floor. All the while, my afterimages distracted you long enough for me to make a final blow. Ria explained, panting heavily, using a bit too much of her arcana. Ria pulled her arm out of Jinsei's body, pulling his heart out along with it. She threw it down on the ruined floor before dropping down to one knee, breathing heavily. Suddenly, Jinsei began glowing in a dark aura. He began rising to his feet as if nothing had just happened. He turned to Ria, and her eyes widened in disbelief. The bleeding had stopped, and Jinsei is covered in black markings surrounding the hole in his chest put there by her. The marking reached up to his face and down his arms. Don't think you've outsmarted me, Lady Gabrielle. I don't need a heart to live. Living without one just fuels my power. Now negativity is flowing throughout my body. I'm sorry, but these are your final moments. Jinsei tells Ria as he points a finger at her, palm facing upward. He slowly puts his index finger down. Suddenly a gush of blood shoots out of Ria's body, as if she was cut down by Jinsei's blade. Ria was in both disbelief and in extreme agony as blood gushed from her body. She quickly began to be sitting in a pool of her own blood. The wounds inflicted by Jinsei's attack was unlike anything she had experienced before. I only have one choice. No. What if the others get caught in it? Ria began thinking to herself of a strategy, but began to doubt herself in fear of the others in her company getting caught up in whatever her plan was going to be originally. Ria began clutching her right side, however she is still kneeling, refusing to fall flat on her face despite the grievous injuries. Jinsei's aura continues to swirl around him, his expression devoid of any emotion. It became clear to Ria that when she ripped out his heart, that it forced him to tap into a reservoir of power that went beyond the limits of ordinary magic. It was clear how dire of a situation she was in. She began to think of the others. Ava, Kazuto, Kitsune, Asuka, Benji, Randy, Joseph, Jake. I won't give up. She began to slowly rise to her feet, her knees buckling every inch of the way up, blood beginning to flow from her body quicker than before. She began to struggle to maintain consciousness, her vision becoming even more blurry as she fought to stay in the fight. Jinsei approached her slowly, the black markings on his body pulsating with malevolent energy. He raised his hand, ready to deliver the final blow. But as he was about to deliver the final blow, Rhea smirked, catching him off guard. Suddenly sand began pouring out of the ruined floors, the walls, and even the ceiling. Jinsei was distracted as the sand was like quicksand to him, pulling him into it. He quickly looked back up at Rhea, and she fired a ball of arcanic energy at him, pushing her out of the radius of the sand. Jinsei attempted to use his negative control and absorb the sand. However, it was too much for him to absorb, as it only continued to quickly swallow him whole. Damn it, I can't... Jinsei began speaking before being completely swallowed by the sand. Rhea was left lying on the ground, blood still pouring from her body as she breathed heavily. Finally, she said to herself as she fell unconscious. End of chapter 27.